When I was a kid, I used to play down by the creek that was behind my house. I'd throw rocks, play with plastic army men, make little houses out of mud and sticks, having them sink into the creek. On a particular hot day in July, when I was about 9, I was sitting by the edge of the creek. I had my feet in the water, trying to cool down as the day was unbearably humid. I had my eyes closed and didn't hear her walk up. "Hello," I heard an older voice say. I open my eyes and see a thin, middle-aged woman wearing a thin white dress, walking barefoot, carrying a box under an arm. I recognized the box as a fishing tackle box that looked similar to my dad's, only a different color. I thought it was strange that she had a tackle box, but no fishing poles. "Hey lady," I asked, "how are you going to fish if you have no poles?" She smiled at me and made eye contact. I wish she hadn't. Being as young as I was, I didn't quite understand it, but I felt slightly scared when I looked into those eyes. There was just something so fake about the happiness in them. It was like staring into the plastic eyes of a stuffed animal. They were made to look happy, but wasn't the real thing. Her mouth was stretched into a grin that slightly quivered. She spoke in a hushed, smoky voice of fragile composure. "Oh no, little boy, I'm not fishing. I'm using this for something very special." The way she said that last part really sent alarms off, even for a child as young as I was. She said it with a girlish giggle that sounded more like a recording, an imitation. I didn't want to ask what it was and began to walk away. Then she spoke again. "I was going to do it by myself, but I think I need a little helper." Her eyes got wider and she started to walk towards me. "No, that's okay," I shouted and ran away from the woman into my house and locked the door. I told my mom about it and she went outside, but the woman was already gone. A few days later, my mom approached me with a worried look on her face and showed me a picture she cut out of the newspaper. "Honey, that woman you saw on Tuesday, was this her?" She showed me a photo of a woman standing with a man by a house, both of them with ear-to-ear smiles. It was her without a doubt. Those blank eyes were not something you can forget. I said, "Yes, she was." I made a frightened face and my mom looked down, dropping the photo, and hugged me. "Oh honey, I would never let anyone hurt you," she cried. I was confused but was glad she was comforting me. My mom had a police officer come talk to me. The officer and I played with my action figures for a while we talked. He asked me about the lady. I told him the same story I told my mom, and I saw the same worried expression my mom had. "Wow, she sounds really scary," he said, the way adults do when they talk to children. He showed me a photo lineup of various women's ID photos and asked me if I can pick her out. I immediately do, as she is the only one with a smile. She kept smiling at me. That smile looked wrong. When I told the officer this, he froze and went a little pale for a second. "Yes, it must have been very scary, but you sound very smart for being able to get away from her." He said that in the same adult tone to please children. "Who is she?" I asked, serious. The cop paused and looked at me in sorrow. "She was hurt very badly, and we needed to talk to you to know when you saw her, so we can guess when she got hurt." That answer satisfied me, and I didn't ask about it anymore. My parents said they were very proud of me, but they'd often still glance at each other with that same worried look whenever I brought it up. soon after they forbid me to go to the creek alone. Years later, I'm in college getting my master's in criminal justice and working as a file clerk at the local police department part-time. One day, I run into the same officer that talked to me that one day at a mutual friend's birthday party. He was already long retired, but still remembered me. We began to talk and I asked if he remembered the case. He went silent and looked down at his drink. "Yeah, I remember that one, alright?" He got up and motioned me to follow him somewhere more private. Outside, he lit up a cigarette and told me the story. That woman was a recent divorce whose husband she discovered was cheating on her for a much younger woman. He said that when they interviewed her friends, she was still continued to be cheaper and everyone thought she was just being optimistic. She lived about a mile from my house, but by the same creek. Her husband loved to fish as a hobby. That day, just an hour before I saw her, she broke into her ex-husband's home, found his new wife on the bed sleeping and strangled her with a cord before stealing her husband's tackle box. The officer began to shake when he explained what she did next. She climbed up into a tree. Sitting on a branch, she opened the tackle box. Taking out all the hooks, she threaded fish lines through them and tied them to the same end of the branch. After she tied about 10 hooks on fishing lines, she took them all in her hand. She swallowed all of the hooks and jumped off the branch. The coroner estimated that she was hanging there for half an hour before she bled to death. But the worst part? The officer, now almost in tears, stammered to say, was that smile. Even that, she still had on a fucking smile. Blood everywhere. Her eyes were rolled back till you only saw the whiteness, but she still had a big ear-to-ear smile. After hearing this, I immediately thought what she would have done to me and what I would have seen if I agreed to be her helper.